Good morning and happy Sunday to you. I'm glad that we're back for another Sunday morning conversation. And I've been ruminating on a couple topics that maybe we could talk about over the next couple weeks. And for this week, I figured we'd talk about something that I've struggled with all my life and that challenges me to this day. And hopefully that we can talk about some of the things that's worked, some of the things that haven't worked, some of the things I'm working on. And there's probably somebody out there that is going through a similar process or could just use some words of encouragement, which is what we're all about here. So this morning, I want to talk about the difference between reacting and responding. We live in a reactionary world. And our reaction wants to be elicited, solicited. There's emotional hooks as we speak, as other people speak. And I think to be better versions of ourselves, we need to be slow, methodical, and thoughtful responders instead of reactors. And I'll tell you the difference here. When we react, we tend to speak viscerally, emotionally. We may escalate our cadence, our volume, filler words, maybe even curse words. Often, if not all the words that we say when we're reacting, we tend to regret. At least that's true for me. When we're feeding into that reaction, something I've come to learn and notice is the reason that I react is because I want to be heard. I want to be seen. I have a desire to feed and defend my ego. When I respond to somebody, I typically slow down, allow their words to marinate. Oftentimes, I'll give a reflectionary statement, make sure I understand what they're saying. For instance, after they get done speaking, I could say something like, "So if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is this," or "What I heard was this. Is that right?" And people that have not been on the receiving end of you clarifying their point, their opinion, or their part of the conversation, they get taken back first. But more than anything is their defenses go down because so often people are expecting you to just start defending your position and reacting in an opposing way to whatever they spoke about. When you do that, what I've found is you'll hear one of a few different responses. The best one is, that's right. That's what I meant, and that's what I mean. That means you heard them, and they're confirming that you heard them. That's a beautiful place to be. Not always will it work out or shake out like that. Other variations might be yes, but not quite this, or no, you didn't hear me at all. That's not what I said, or that's not what I meant. No matter what their response is, it gives you a clean slate to make sure that you're on the same sheet of music. You're seeking to understand them before you yourself can be understood. A general expectation is that they could reciprocate and do the same to you, but if they don't, you still implement this so you can understand they're part of the conversation. When we react, those tools, the patience, the pause, the silence, tends to be filled with words that might be untrue, that might be hurtful, that we might regret. In my case, we most certainly would regret. And so the more that we can be thoughtful responders, slow our words, slow our thoughts, and be quick to listen, we become better responders and better communicators. There was a saying in the military and the law enforcement community that you'd use and you'd hear often, and it was slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And when you're a young pup and you're learning some of the different nuances of whether it be room clearing or tactical spaces or really anything, could be even mission planning, slow things down, they'll become smooth, and in the end, smooth is fast, smooth is clear, smooth is concise, and all around typically better. So the other nuance with responding versus reacting is we control our volume and our pace and our cadence. And when we do that, people tend to lean in and listen. The loudest voice in the room tends to eventually fade out. But the quiet, thoughtful, slowly and cautiously delivered words are heard and probably given some extra thought. So I heard the term one time that I really liked is that we should be the thermostats in a room and not the thermometer. I thought that was pretty profound because a thermometer reacts to its climate. If it's hot in a room, the thermometer will tell you it's hot. If it's cold in the room, the thermometer will tell you it's cold in the room. The thermostat, despite the conditions surrounding it, will either slowly increase the temperature or decrease the temperature. And then the most important part is it holds the temperature. And when we can be that calm, grounded individual that sets the calm in the room, respect, composure, and all around level of certainty and security comes with your presence. Now, let me be clear, I've not always been that way, and I'm not always that way right now. But I'm a work in progress. And each time I am more and more careful with my words. I was grateful I did that. The only caveat to being quick with my words that I've learned is when apology is necessary. Be quick to apologize and quick to forgive. And saying it once is all that needs to be said. Being overly apologetic can lose the genuine energy behind that apology. I think that one intentional apology or admittance of wrong carries a lot of weight. And don't be the person that apologizes in private if you transgress somebody in public. Admit you were wrong and just simply say that. I was wrong and I'm sorry. And that's a hit to the ego. It's a hit to the pride. But the sense of freedom that I've started to feel when I apologize directly and swiftly is way more precious than protecting my fragile pride. So anyway, I hope that this morning's conversation about communicating, responding versus reacting, resonated with you in some way, and you can ponder over, maybe, quickly debrief in your mind some of the conversations that you've had with people this week that went really well, that could have been improved on, or that just flat out went very poorly. And maybe you owe those people an apology, and late's better than never. Or maybe the week ahead you've got some difficult conversations that you need to have with somebody, or an environment that could be dynamic or kinetic in some way, that you can use some of these tools to be the thermostat, to be the calm in the storm. And remember, just like last week's video, consistency beats intensity. Neither of us are perfect. And we're going to fall, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to react when we should have responded. But I hope that this morning's conversation meant something to you. I sure enjoyed it. And I hope that you have a wonderful week. See you soon.